Hello, my raunchy rat. We're back for another episode. I hope that you enjoyed the first 4. Clearly I did, and I'm really pumped for what's coming. So thank you to all my loyal listeners that have already been listening. If you're just joining, welcome to the ride. You can probably clearly see if you're watching video. If you're not, have some new artwork. Literally freshly done today. Why today, you ask? Well, it's my mom's 16th, it's her death anniversary. It's the 16th year of her not being here with me anymore. So I always had a tradition of, like getting a tattoo. Not always, obviously, but like since I was in college. That's how I started my sleeve on my left arm, essentially. And then when we lived in Birmingham for a little bit, obviously that stopped because one thing about like once I find someone to do something, whether that's like a tattoo, nails, brows, Botox filler, whatever, I'm going to stick with them because I know I get solid results. I could care less if someone's like, oh my God, no, Fallon, like they're great. I'm sorry. I have my person. And then I was pregnant and all of that kind of stuff. So I haven't really had a chance to get back to my tradition. So I said, we're doing that this year. So I have a little patchwork sleeve that we're starting. I'm pumped, but it's essentially, I got like a little angel. I got a Grateful Dead bear because my mom loved Grateful Dead. And I got a little seashell with a pearl in it. And then I got something for my son on the back of my arm. A lot of these obviously paying homage to my mother. Shout out Kelly. Miss you, girl. Definitely not gonna cry on the pod. My makeup's done, so that's not happening. But yeah, it's been interesting this year, and it's just crazy to me how grief works because you're never done. Like grief is lifelong. It's not linear. You can think that you make progress and then just kidding, something hits you like a freaking bus. But I was talking to one of my friends the other day and I'm like, I don't know, it's crazy to me that last year obviously never completely fine, but that I was more fine than I am this year because last year I was pregnant. So boom, hormonal. And then, like about to give birth in a couple of weeks. So it was just crazy to me that like last year I was kind of more nonchalant about it. And then this year, like yesterday, I had a whole freaking mental breakdown. And then this morning I had a breakdown. But then like I was like, oh, gotta get dressed and get ready to go to my tattoo appointment. And I was like, and you know what? I'm going to do a full beat. I'm going to make myself feel good. And then once I do a full beat, there's no more crying. Is that healthy? I don't know. But I had enough of the crying. Like for me, yes, I like never want someone to feel like I'm saying don't feel your feelings because you absolutely should. If you don't, you're going to one day anyways. And they're probably going to come out in a way that you don't want them to. But for me, I had enough because like the entire night before, I was like super emotional. Then this morning I was super emotional. So I was just kind of like, I'm done. I'm over this. So yeah. So I've been in good spirits the rest of the day. And Matthew, when I told him I was filming the pod tonight, he was like, tonight? And I was like, yeah, honestly, why not? Give me some talking points, and then also for video portions I could show off my tats. So yeah, and I don't really ever feel disconnected from my mom. Like I definitely feel like I feel her in for sure like certain activities, things that like she really enjoyed. I know I feel her super strong when I'm doing those things. Like I literally see her in my son, like, because it's crazy. He's like the spitting image of me, and I'm almost like the spitting image of my mom. So it's like, who are you right now? But I also am big on mediums. I have a medium who, through a friend at the time, had recommended to me, and I've like used her ever since. Love her to death. So that is something I try to do periodically as well, just because it makes me feel good. One day I will be seeing Teresa Caputo, because I swear this is probably where like half of the things went wrong in my childhood, because like I would like watch her on TLC and I was like, oh my God, like I want to be her. Literally want to be her, with the long, like white tips, poofy hair. I'm just like, wow, she's a god. She is a woman of the arts. But no, it is a lifelong dream of mine to see her. So hopefully one day I'll make that happen. So, all right, moving on from the depressingness, because we're no longer participating in that today. I hope everyone had a great Valentine's Day. What'd you guys do? For me personally, I literally hate going out on Valentine's Day, like to a restaurant, whatever it may be. Not that obviously, like, I don't love, but like, no, thank you. It's so gross to me. Like, I don't know, because I feel like that's what everybody's doing. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then I feel weird and bad for whoever my server is. And I just feel like I could have a more intimate evening at home and probably cook something I'm going to enjoy more or whatever. So, and then obviously we have a son. So now this year's. So I was definitely like, we're not going anywhere. So we had a nice little dinner. And then I have this like little fondue thing that I got in Dirty Santa. And I say got very lightly because I bought it. So life hack, if your family plays Dirty Santa during Christmas, also known to creepy people as White Elephant, buy gifts that you would want. So like when I'm buying gifts, because you have to buy like for whoever's playing. So I'll buy two, one for me, one for Matthew. When I'm buying shit, I'm like, I would use that. Because obviously like there's a price limit. So it's not going to be something like super phenomenal. But it's like, okay, if I was going to spend $30 on this, like I would get this. So I'll do that. I'll get things that I would want. So that way, like, if I'm like, all this is, it's not giving, I'll just go pick out my own gift. And that's actually what happened. Well, not really. Somebody stole a gift from me, I think. And then I went and stole my gift from, I can't remember how it happened, but I saw my little fondue thing and I was like, thank you. I'll be taking that. I brought it and it's coming home with me. So we used that. And let me tell you, there's a reason it was like $25 on Amazon. It was cute and all, but I definitely like it. So it has a warm function and then a melt function. I just think the melt function is still a warm function. You need to melt the chocolate first. But yeah, so we did that. We made like a little palette on like the sectional and stuff and watched Blue Crush. First of all, if you are not a Blue Crush stan and don't think that that is like a cinematic masterpiece, I don't know if we can be friends, because the feelings that movie gives me, one, obviously, like it was my mom's favorite movie. I don't know how many times I watched that with her as a kid, but a lot. Go Anne-Marie, yes, do that pipe, girl. Anyways, so we started watching it, but I was literally consuming the fondue. I mean, or not really fondue. It was milk chocolate with like the strawberries, the vanilla wafer. I was devouring that. Meanwhile, after we had like full dinner, so it like hit me, I want to say at like 10:30. I was like, I feel like shit right now. I told Matthew, I was like, I'm about to die. Like, I ate too much. Like, get this away from me. Oh my God. So I was like trying to muster up the energy to like continue this beautiful evening of like watching a movie, laying on the couch, whatever. And I was like, I need to go to bed. So I was in a food coma, had to take some Tums, happily in bed on Valentine's Day by like 11 p.m., if not earlier than that, to be honest. So not that it was bad. I love that for me, truthfully. I got some great sleep. I woke up the next morning and felt like a new human being, and I'd do it again. So no complaints there. I hope the rest of you rats had a great Valentine's Day as well. Quick little drink break. ASMR maybe? Anywho, and you'll notice I'm wearing jeans, you guys. This is crazy. It's actually so crazy because the last episode I filmed, Matthew was like, are you wearing the same pants you wore in your like last episode? Like episode before that? I'm like, no, these are different. He's like, oh, well, they're black sweatpants. And I'm like, I just happen to own like 4 pairs of the same looking black sweatpants because I work from home and I don't leave the house. So, no, they're not the same. Thanks for being rude, though. So I was super self-conscious that I had 2 episodes back to back wearing black sweatpants. So when I got home for my tattoo and everything, I was like, no, I'm not going to change. I'm just going to stay in what I wore today. Because you guarantee I would have probably gone and put on some black sweatpants and then I would have been like perseverating, big word, overthinking about how I just keep wearing black sweatpants because I'm a comfy queen. But these jeans are actually pretty comfy. Shein, don't come for me. Do not come for me. I mentioned before, I am like a one-time wearer girly. Now, granted, these jeans don't count, and some of the jeans I've gotten from Shein don't count because they're actually pretty good quality. But I buy a lot of things off Shein because it's cheap, and again, I wear something like one time, especially like we have a cruise coming up. So things I'm buying for the cruise, other than like maybe like swimsuits and stuff, but like I'm probably going to wear it once and then I won't ever wear it again. Or if I do wear it again, it'll be so far in the future that I've probably cleaned out my closet and it's gone. Because there are like, let me take that back. I don't try, I have to go through my closet pretty frequently because of the fact that I have a little bit of like a clothes problem, I guess, because the fact that I don't really wear the same thing that often. And I take it back in like the aspect of like, yes, running errands around town, whatever. But like if I'm going on a trip or I'm going like out to do something, I'm going to wear something that I have not worn before, or like it's been a very long time since I've worn it. So there's that caveat. But anywho, Shein stan, because it is what it is. I'm sorry, but I'm wearing jeans, but these are comfy. So I thought you guys would enjoy that I'm in a different outfit. Also, I saw something on TikTok. I guess it was maybe yesterday or the day before about this like Kindle update. Amazon's like taking our rights to our books. Don't get me wrong, it probably is like a huge problem. Do I have the energy to care? No. Are you joking? It was like download your books before like the 25th because like basically any book that you've bought through Amazon, like if you physically bought it from them, you can't like download it anymore. I didn't even know that was a thing, first of all. So I guess that makes me dumb or something. But I didn't even know that you could like download the book so that you could read it on like a different e-reader. What other e-reader am I going to use? I mean, I know that when I was younger, I had like, what were they called? Like Nooks or whatever. I had one of those. But I'm like, okay, when I think about it, I don't know what other, like, I don't know what other e-readers there are other than like Kindles. So, or like the Kindle app. So I'm like, even if I'm not using my Kindle, I'd be using the Kindle app on my phone and or like my iPad. So why would I need to download it? I don't know. I just thought it was kind of strange. And I'm also like, what am I going to do with this download? And also, if I'm using my Kindle, it's because I didn't want the physical book or because I'm using Kindle Unlimited or like Libby or something like that. So if I own a book on Kindle Unlimited, it's solely because, for example, oh my gosh, it's going to make me mad that I'm not going to remember what the series like name actually is, but the last one was like Fate of the Heart Queen or something like that. So like I originally started reading that on Libby, but Libby, you have to like wait for the books to come out of hold. So if I get super into something and I don't want to wait for Libby, then and it's not on Kindle Unlimited, then I'll just buy the book. Do I really care? No, I don't. I read the book. For me, it's the accomplishment of like reading the book and like marking it in like my little app. It's not that I have the book, because also rereads for me are not really a thing. The only time I'll do a reread is like if it's a series that isn't completed and like a new book is coming out and I want to jog my memory of like what was happening before. That is like the only time I will do a reread. So I don't really, sorry girlies who are pressed about it. I just thought that was interesting. Speaking of books, I have taken a hiatus from Onyx Storm. It's actually really crazy. Since I filmed, what was that, the second episode, literally haven't touched it since. Granted, I've been very busy. Your girl has been girl bossing. She's been a boss babe for a little bit. Not a little bit. She's been busy for the past couple weeks. So I don't really feel like I've had much time to read, and or the time that I have to read, like I'd rather just sit there and watch a show. But I have read some, like, I don't know, like I mentioned before, I like to find a book that's like under 500 pages because I can just like finish that in a night usually. So I read some like that, and I'm currently reading, because I had this pinned per TikTok and it's supposed to be like pretty freaking gut-wrenching. And it kind of is, like, already I'm like, oh my God. So, and I'm almost done with the first one. So I'm hoping that I can finish this first one tonight and at least get started on the second one. Like, this is literally, imagine this is my Kindle. Sorry for those of you just audio listening. You'll have to check it out on YouTube. Wink, wink. Or watch it on Spotify video to see what I'm talking about. But literally, like, this will be me in bed. Like, this is my Kindle. And I'm like, literally, like, it's still in hand. There have been times where I've woken up and it is still in my hand. Or like I have been woken up by Matthew taking it out of my hand. And now that I got done literally with that spiel, I forgot to tell you guys, literally, this is what I'm freaking reading. So I'm reading Torment Part 1. It's a Torment series by Dylan Page. Again, super dark romance, you guys. If you're not into that kind of stuff, don't read it. It's definitely going to be for the people who like the Lord series, the Legacy of the Gods, things like that. If you're not into that, you probably won't like this one either. But yeah, so that's what I'm reading right now. I don't know when I'll get back into Onyx Storm. I don't know if it's just for me, like the finale. Oh my God, Dylan's gonna kill me. No, not kill me. He's gonna make fun of me. Finality of it all. But it's not even the last book. I think for me, it's the fact that the other book doesn't come out till 2027. And I'm like, I will not be left in the abyss for that long. And also, like, to me, I'm like, well, then I'm just gonna have to do another reread. So why not just keep myself in the dark? So it's not that I'm not gonna finish it, but it's just not on my priority list anymore. Plus, it's like an actual book because I was like, oh, well, I have the other 2 books already, so let me just get the actual book. Because I do like to have some physical books for like trophies. Like, yeah, I fucking read that. Um, but and there went my train of thought. I've got to stop letting myself side path it on conversations. Oh my God. Anyways, it's not that I won't read it. It's just not taking precedent right now. And it is a physical book. Here we go, Fallon. She's remembering. Thank the Lord. Oh my God. But like physical books for me are hard. That is why I love my Kindle, because what happens when I finish it and I'm like out and about and I don't have the other one? You know what I mean? And then also, I just feel like a physical book is so much work out and about, even at night. Like, I have this little thing that goes around my neck and it's like a book light. It's very like grandma-y, so that I don't have to just keep my nightlight on, because even my like lamp does not give me enough light for reading. So I try to just be a Kindle girly, you know? So that's where I'm at with current reads. Current shows, I'm not really. Oh, wait. I did start watching Firefly Lane again because, oh my God, I don't know why it hit me, but I was like scrolling on Netflix and I was like, wait, I forgot how truly freaking sad this show is. And the books, I mean, like, I've already said it before about Nightingale, because that book crushed me, but so did Firefly Lane, and then Fly Away is the second one. Phenomenal. I just love Kristen Hanna. And it's crazy because obviously most of the time I'm not reading books that don't really have a lot of smut, or, I'm not really here for the plot. I'm here for the fun. But something about her books just does it for me. So I did start rewatching Firefly Lane. But again, it's not really something I've been huge paying attention to. And then Sex and the City has been my comfort show as of late. I've just been like, that's what I put on when I just need white noise to sleep, because I'm one of those girlies that doesn't know how to go to bed without noise. Like, unless I'm literally just like falling asleep while I'm reading, the TV has to be on. I've also gotten to the point where I like the sound machine will do it for me. I got kind of reliant on it too once we moved my son into his room. I was like, wait, I need a sound machine now, because I was so used to when he was in his bassinet next to us, like the sound machine going. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I don't know how to sleep without it. But I'm back to just like my white noise or falling asleep while reading a book. So, yep, that's where I'm with that. And can we talk about for a second with Spotify? I've been really into like some throwbacks, like 2000s throwbacks. And I was just like typing in Spotify like 2000s, and it comes up like nostalgic like 2000s mix, and like it's playing, and I'm in the car and I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah. And then I do like next song and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, this is still 2000s, but like, what a nice genre jump. Interesting. This is so something that like, if I went to my liked songs playlist and hit shuffle, would happen. Okay, well, here is where I have another dumb girl moment, because after further investigation, Spotify makes mixes for you. So this 2000s mix was specifically made for me by either songs I have already liked or similar songs to those or whatever. So I'm like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense now, because no shit, I'm liking this. And no shit, it's like going from Akon to freaking Nickelback because that's what I do. And it's taking my own songs and making like a mix out of it. But then I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, wait, no, I was doing this because like maybe there's some songs that are in my liked playlist already that I'm not listening to. Granted, it does give you a few that you haven't already downloaded. But anyways, if you didn't know that, I'm pretty sure probably 99% of the population knew that. But I didn't know that when I was looking up like certain mixes, because I did this like one time too for like, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but you know, when you look up sad songs or whatever. So I was like looking up like sad beats or whatever. And it was sad beats made for me. So like made from stuff I already listened to that's sad or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. So it'll do this for like anything you search, which is kind of cool because it is nice because my liked songs are just freaking all over the place. So it's like, okay, at least this is giving me the mood that I'm going to be in, and I'm not going to have to like shuffle through all my songs, but I was kind of baffled. So you learned something new today, potentially, or otherwise you just found out that I'm a little bit more special than I already was. Also, there was a TikTok I saw the other day that sent me, hold on, and I sent it to several people, but mainly my friend Mary, because it has to do with Miley Cyrus. And it was like talking about, hold on, my volume's about to go off. It was talking about how like when people are like, oh my God, I love Miley Cyrus. And you're like, me too. But it's like, adore you. And I think also the part that kills me too is that it's Scott Disick. It's when I tell them I like Miley Cyrus and they expect me to play Flowers, but instead I play this. And it's Adore You. And 1000% feel that. So I had to send it to Mary because Mary, when you get in her car and you plug in her phone, it just like goes to like, I think like Apple Music automatically or whatever. And that's like the first thing that pops up because it's like, A. And I remember we would always get in the car and I'd be like, yay. And she'd be like, no. She would literally look at me and be like, no. And I'm like, but no. And I'm like, okay, bye. Bye. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a Miley stan. I would literally give my left tit for a Miley Cyrus concert. I would give more than that. I would sell my house. I would sell my soul. I would do whatever I had to do to see Miley Cyrus live. But this is going to really make me sound super, super fan. But if you don't know this about Miley Cyrus, she doesn't like touring because she says like she feels like she doesn't get a break. Like it's so intense on her mental health because she's not home. She's bouncing and bouncing, like she's not sleeping well. She's like basically running herself ragged. Yes, for her fans, for people who love her, but like no one's filling her cup at the same time. And I'm like, damn, not that I'm famous or anything, but it sounds very accurate. So love Miley. I know she does like music festivals here and there, but you can guarantee that as soon as she decides to have a tour, I don't care where it is or how much it costs, I'll be going. I'll be like the crazy T Swift fans. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Also, I don't remember what episode. I think it was the episode with Dylan where we talked about this awful server we had. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess I'm going to stop going out to eat with Dylan because we had another experience. Me, Dylan, and my son over last weekend went to Olive Garden because I called him up and I was like, what are you doing today? I need to run some errands and I'm hungry. And he was like, period, me too. Well, we decided to go to Olive Garden because I was like, some soup and salad sounds phenomenal and breadsticks. Why Were we blessed with another shitty server? Great question. He was like so incompetent. It was unreal. It was like, honestly, just give me the little freaking like game thing that you can like pay on now. And let me just order from here and like literally don't come. Let the food runner bring my shit out. Like just don't come over here. He had to be high and it's not that difficult. It's just not. I don't know why we're having such bad luck, but it's literally killing me inside. The one thing that was so nice, at least, versus like our last restaurant experience where it was like eating was awful because he literally was so unattentive. But then the fact that we had to wait like 20 minutes for our check, at least, Olive Garden, they're like Chili's and shit now, where you got the little kiosk thing and you can pay right then and there and fucking leave. Thank God, because that's exactly what we did. I was like, you can even split the check. I was like, don't even worry about it, Dylan. We're going to figure this out and we're done here. Because, oh my God. And we were really talking about that on the way, like walking to the car. I was like, what is going on? Like, what? And then here's another thing. This has something to do with my server. This has something to do with Olive Garden. We come in. Of course, it's me and Dylan. And then I have my son. And I'm like, yeah, 2. And then I'll need a high chair. Can we get a booth? Because I don't know if you guys know this. Unless you have kids, you probably don't. But I don't put him in his high chair until it's like right time to eat. Because by the time it's time to eat, he will want to be out of the high chair. So if we're in a booth, it lets him just like run back and forth essentially and like climb all over me and climb all over the table, whatever, we're out here trying to survive. And they were like, well, we don't have any booths available. And even if we did, we can't fit high chairs there. You can't put a high chair on the end of a booth table? Okay, that's so crazy because there's so many other restaurants that do that, but okay. But even then, they have like the ones that are like a booth on one side and a table on the other side. So I'm like, why couldn't you do that for me? Anyways, that's going to get me super heated. It was just not an enjoyable time. I took a lot of my food to go because we were just ready to leave, as did Dylan. And then we saved ourselves with a little car wash and Target shopping trip and made the rest of the day better. Thank God. So I meant to mention this earlier when I was talking about Firefly Lane, but I did finally watch One Day. I know a couple episodes ago I was talking about how I think it sucks. Or not that I still think it sucks. At the moment I did, because the first episode was really hard to get into. And I still think even after watching it, Normal People still beats it by a freaking million. But I can kind of see the hype now. I don't know. It was still really hard to get into and like stay like enjoying it and following along with it, because I was just kind of like, this dude's a fucking dick. And like, I don't know. I just didn't really feel like a super connection to them. And then of course, like the episode before the last one, you're like, oh, well, I know what happens. Like at the very end, you're like, oh, well, here we go. So then it's just not really like, it's all predictable. So I'm like, I don't really care about watching it anymore. But I knew that I had to stick it through for the girlies. So I did watch it. I would probably rate it like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. I don't know. Maybe if I rewatch it and like fully dedicate my attention, I'll like it more. But again, I still think Normal People beats it by 1,000, because I think that Normal People did a better job of portraying like real life, versus like One Day is very much so like, what are the odds that like there's this freaking like kind of movie star-ish dude, and all of that kind of stuff was a little bit too much for me, where Normal People is like, no, this is legit normal people and stuff that normal people struggle with and the reason that their relationships fail. So I digress. I know you guys are tired of listening to me talk about normal people, so I'm going to take a little drink break. So one more thing about something that I watched. Very niche. Guarantee you probably 25% of you are going to be invested in what I'm about to say. But hear me out. The Daytona 500. That shit was fucking insane. So clearly I'm not going to turn on NASCAR for myself. It'll be for my husband because he's a NASCAR stan. Period. I even decided one year to suck it up and go to Talladega with him. And let me tell you, I won't do it again. I'll buy him tickets to go with somebody else. I won't go with him again. I digress. Anyways, Daytona 500 was crazy. You know, most of the time I'm just sitting on the couch and I'm like scrolling on my phone. But like, oh my God. And now I'm going to be annoyed that I don't remember what the guy's name is. So, but the guy who like literally like flipped in the air, like literally was like a little tornado. Like, first of all, I'm thinking he's dead. He literally is in an interview like 15 minutes later. And I'm like, is he okay? Like he just spun around like 15 million times in the air. And he's literally like, there's no cuts or anything on him. He's just doing an interview. Mind blowing to me on that fact. Second thing, apparently like this year before, he also did the same thing. Babe. I'm trying to see if he's around so he can tell me what his name is. Hold on. Babe. What's the NASCAR driver's name who flipped around a whole bunch of times? Yeah.
Ryan Bruce.
Ryan Preece? And he did it the year before too, right?
He did Talladega.
Oh, Talladega the year before. And he had what, like two,
black.
But was still racing?
I think he said it.
Okay. Yeah. So anyways, what? You're still racing? That's crazy to me. And then at the very end, so not that NASCAR really is that enjoyable to me until wrecks started happening, but I would say probably like the last 30 minutes I was dialed in, and that just gets pretty crazy. And then me and Matthew are sitting over here because there's like wrecks happening, and I'm like, that's their fault. And he's like, no, it's this person's fault because they should have known that they wouldn't have been able to. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then like the professionals are talking about it and they're siding with obviously what Matthew's saying because it's probably accurate. But in my mind, I'm like, he saw him. He should have moved and known he was coming. He's the one who touched him. And I'm like, this is why I'm not cut out for NASCAR or anything like that. Because first of all, you wreck me. What? Oh my gosh. No, thank you. It's on site. Catch me outside, girl. It's probably why a lot of girls aren't drivers. Whatever. So we love that. The last like 75 laps, I think it was, were intense. So, and on that same note, fuck you to the Hard Rocks betting app. Absolutely fuck you. It should more be like, fuck me. But I am so sick. First of all, I was excited because I was like, oh, I'm going to put some bets in. And of course, I'm like, actually, no. I didn't even say I was going to put any bets in. Matthew goes, have you put any bets in today? And I'm like, oh, no, I haven't. But like, you want me to? I should, actually, now that I think about it. And he's like, well, yeah, like, whatever you want to do. So I like hand him my phone and I'm like, here's the app, you do it. And he's like, well, no. Like, you know, I don't like doing those things. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this. So who do you want me to pick? So I text our friend and I'm like, who you got? So I put all his people down. Also, I really do love you, Mark, but fuck you because I won no money because of you. But I also, I guess, feel bad for you too because you didn't win any money either. But actually, no. I won $25 because I did win that. I picked like winning manufacturer was going to be Chevy, and that's who won. But anyways, all that to say, I was kind of annoyed because, normally when you're using like a Hard Rock betting app, you can do like parlays and stuff like that. Well, you can't do that with NASCAR. You can like do a bunch of single bets, which to me is freaking annoying because then I'm like, well, now I have to kind of put more money towards the single bet for it to be worth anything. When I could just build a parlay. But then I guess the nice thing about single bets is like, well, if you don't win one, then you could still at least win the other. I literally only won one out of like probably the 10 bets that I put in. So love that for me. But that was actually the first time I ever won on Hard Rock, like all sports season, I guess. So we'll give myself that. But but I'm taking a hiatus. I don't even think there's gonna be more NASCAR races to bet on, but I'm done betting on them. I really don't think, again, super niche. I'm gonna stop talking about it here in a second. But I do think that it's really hard to bet on NASCAR because unlike football, where I don't want to say there's like predictability, but I do think there's some. I don't think that you can really predict NASCAR because like, yeah, they do. Oh God, what are they even called? Where they know like where they're going to line up, like a qualifying thing. And that gives them their like starting position. That means diddly shit because just like I saw in the Daytona 500, there's wrecks that happen. And it could be a wreck that happened in the front of the line and then it's still affecting drivers in the back of the line. And if you can't pass to get back on like the pit road, whatever it is, basically, if you can't drive pit road and then drive back off pit road back onto the track, then like you're done. So even though they may be a good driver, if they got wrecked because of someone else, then, you're squash. So I'm not going to bet on NASCAR anymore because I just feel like I'm going to keep losing my money. If I'm going to bet, I'm just going to bet on who I think the winning manufacturer is going to be. So all of that to say, there's a lot of niche conversation at the very end. Really sorry. But to those of you who want to get into NASCAR, as Matthew always says, it is a dying sport. I'm not going to say my thoughts on it. But I really appreciate, my God, it's time to go to bed. I really appreciate my little ratties for joining me. It was so good to have another episode with you guys. As always, if you're enjoying the content, please make sure to follow, subscribe, rate me, leave comments, and check out my socials. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. All of them are at Feral Thoughts Pod. And I will see you next time. Bye, ratties.